Hey, John.
Hey, Eric. How you doing tonight?
Good. Episode 182.
182. That's right. Wow.
Don't blink.
Wow. How is that possible? All right. All right. 1 week at a time. 1 week at a time.
Yeah.
Well, I have
Hmm.
put in, I think, 2 solid days of work since last we spoke. So I've had a bit of PTO. Um,
Lucky you.
yeah.
Did you have a
Yeah.
nice did you have a nice break at least?
I did. I did. I had a good time. We actually went my whole family, my whole immediate family at least, came and we went camping out on the coast. It was my parents' 50th wedding anniversary, and we had planned a couple years ago to do something big. Did I mention? I think I might have mentioned something last week.
I
Sorry,
think you did.
I don't remember. Anyway, so we're all vaccinated. So we got together and was all but one grandchild. My niece couldn't make it. Um, she anyway, but other than that, we were all there, and it was great. We had a good time.
So, 15 people? I'm making a guess.
15 ish. 15 might have been 16, something like that. But yeah,
Ah, I was
15 or
close.
15 or so. Yeah, and so we had our camper. My parents drug their camper up, rented one for my sister, or my sister rented one for her family, and then my other brother was they tented it. So, and it was a little chilly to be tenting, I must say,
Mm-hmm.
but they survived, and we had a good time. We went to the beach. We ate lots of candy and stuff. We cooked lots of stuff over the fire. We I took one of only one of the kids wanted to go out on a canoe ride, so we went out. But we went out on the canoe. It was really nice one of the days, and we played lots and lots of games. My son and his cousins, I guess, somehow managed to turn Catan and Splendor, neither of which are battle games, into battle games. Like complete with, my son had his Chromebook out. They were writing down the rules, and um, they modified. They did a whole bunch of play testing. They had this thing where whoever won the game got to add a rule for the next play, and so
mm.
they would do that and modify. And anyway, and at the end of the day, at the end of the weekend, the oldest grandson, my oldest nephew, I guess, was like, make sure he emails those rules out so that we know what they are. We have that. And I was like, okay, that's awesome.
Sounds a little
I
like Calvin Ball
I,
there.
exactly. In fact, I used that exact joke. but
Ah,
but at least they were
sorry,
writing
did I
down the
steal your
rules to
joke?
Calvin Ball. But no, that's exactly right. That's it's of an age. So it was good. And
Oh,
then
awesome.
we're a Pinochle family, so we played a lot of Pinochle. That was
Mm.
good. And then so actually I'm gonna talk about that for my something fun, I think. But my the other thing I would say is my wife made this cake that was like the best cake I've ever had. Seriously. But if anybody had peanut allergies, they would have probably keeled over from just looking at it. But it was but well, my family
Peanut
generally likes peanut
butter
butter,
cake.
and
Okay.
my mom plays the piano, and so
Okay.
it was at some point in time, my wife saw this picture of a cake that had piano keys on the top of it, and so and that was the inspiration. But my father also likes peanut butter cakes and stuff like that. Whenever we do that, and so the cake was kind of for him, and the piano and stuff was for her. But it was a brownie on the bottom, and then like a Snickers peanut butter caramel middle with a peanut butter cake on top of that, peanut butter layer on top of that, and then peanut butter frosting on top of that. and then the top looked kind of like had piano keys that were white chocolate. The white keys were white chocolate dipped wafers. What are those called? Like
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Like
yeah.
Sorry,
The
Necco wafers.
vanilla.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Not
they're
Necco,
they're about
cookie
the
wafers.
size of those
Right.
cookie wafers. They're about the size of a
Yeah.
piano key. And so
Sugar
she
wafers.
dipped those in sugar wafers. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
She dipped them in white chocolate, and then those made the white keys. And then I think she cut Kit Kats in half and dipped those in regular chocolate to make the black keys on the keyboard.
So
looked really
double
cool.
dip the Kit Kats.
You can double dip Kit Kat. It's okay. Just add some more chocolate. But anyway,
it doesn't sound like a
it was
cake
really
to
cool.
me.
It was a well, yeah, if you're a purist of some sort, but
It sounds like a dessert.
Well, yeah, you needed to eat like a very, very small slice. Very small slice. But anyway, so that was one of the things. That was good. That was good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, we had a good time. So
Cool.
anyway, how about you? Anything? Did you use your grill again this weekend?
I did use the grill again. My dad decided to show up and come into town.
Good.
Well, yeah, successfully, maybe. But not because I didn't do anything hard. This time we were just doing burgers.
Oh,
so
okay.
I didn't need to get a right temperature
so
and everything.
You ratcheted the difficulty down. But were they good?
They were very tasty burgers.
Did they have
yes.
real fire flavor or fake fire flavor?
No, they had real fire flavor. Real wood smoke
awesome.
Flavor. It was very tasty. No, so and then so my dad came down this weekend. So Sunday he showed up. So we grilled some burgers on Sunday, and then Monday, all day Sunday, I could smell my neighbor. My neighbor from North Carolina invited the cul-de-sac, and we used to do a lot more kind of activities as neighbors prior to COVID, and then COVID hit and everybody stayed indoors. But now everybody's vaccinated. All the adults, at least, are vaccinated. And so we all went to his house after all day Sunday smelling his smoker and his pulled pork and ribs going all day long. Monday, about noon, we all kind of brought out our chairs, sat in his driveway. We weren't indoors, but no one was wearing. We made the kids wear masks. It kind of felt a little guilty because all the adults were enjoying no masks and beverages, and the kids were all masked up except when they were eating. But it was so good. It was some of the best pulled pork I've ever had, and so it was a tasty Memorial Day barbecue, and it almost felt normal. So that was nice.
That's nice.
And then on Friday, the high school, so my daughter's into theater, and the high school did a play, Almost Maine, which worked for social distancing because Almost Maine is just a bunch of short vignettes with either one or two, typically two actors and sometimes maybe a third in the scene at any one point in time. So there's no ensemble, there's no big group of people. And all the kids who were in the play either had to have been vaccinated and they didn't have to wear a mask, or they wore see-through masks, like these clear masks, if they weren't vaccinated. And then I had volunteered for the box office to help with the box office, and it was awkward. Maybe was the right, because the instructions from the school for everyone who came to buy a ticket was, if you can show your vaccine card, you don't have to wear a mask, and we'll put a little stamp on your hand.
Okay.
And it was interesting. About half the people showed their vaccine card and got a little stamp on their hand, and then of the people and didn't wear their mask. of the half that wore their mask, they showed their vaccine card and then said, I want the stamp, but I'm probably going to leave my mask on anyways. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
And there were others who just, I don't have my vaccine card or whatever. So it was a little weird, but the play was great. It was fun to watch, the kids and the seniors actually be able to do a play for the first time, because COVID hit last year, right in the middle of, they had just finished week 1 of the big play that they were doing, where my daughter was one of the leads, and it was 2 weekends it was going to play. They did the first weekend, and then COVID hit. So they haven't been back in the theater since.
Yeah.
So that was since March of 2020.
Right.
And now it's May of 2021. They actually got to do one. So that was fun. And tomorrow the seniors are all going to sneak in paint to I think they're going to do it in the dressing rooms. It's with the permission of the teacher, but not the principal. And take their hands and get paint on their hands and put their handprints on the wall in the dressing room and sign their name. Just as something fun to leave for the next, maybe make that a tradition. Because, the high school is brand new. There are no traditions. Last year was the first senior class, and that senior class never attended school.
Didn't actually get to have a real graduation.
Right. So she will have a graduation. She actually was able to get in the building. They've been doing classes, so I can feel the end in sight, which I'm looking forward to.
So. Well, I am aware of the ability to do performances because there's a band concert tomorrow night at 7 p.m. And we will be there because my son will be playing. So
now, is it going to be indoors or outdoors?
It's going to be outdoors.
That's what I thought.
They're going to do it in the football stadium, I think.
Right.
So, or something like that. I don't quite know. I haven't been ferrying him for practice, but they did I think that they just sent out the news that this was going to happen like a couple of weeks ago, and then they did a practice yesterday after school, and then I drop him. I mean, they've been practicing obviously in class, and they recorded something that's going to play at graduation. So
cool.
Maybe that's news. I don't know.
I didn't know that.
I'm sure the seniors that are in Wind Ensemble are aware. But the what was I going to say? I have to drop him off tomorrow. They're going to do another dry run through, I don't know. I think I'd have to drop him off before 5, and then it starts at 7. So that'll be cool. But Wind Ensemble, evidently, it's the sort of thing that they have to play along with all the other bands. So, even the, the symphonic and chamber or concert, I think, are the two sort of introductory bands. But the Wind Ensemble has to play for everything. So no break for my son. Anyway, but that'll be cool because that'll be awesome as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Although he's pretty sure he's going to die because he has to be outside for a whole hour and a half. It is what it is.
Good times.
Yep, exactly.
Well, ready for some security topics.
There are many things happening in security today. What'd you bring me from a topic?
I found I'm gonna guess probably 2 off the beaten path topics from this last week. So one was a Krebs article, so the source was not off the beaten path, but this one I thought was interesting because it was using fake reviews to find dangerous extensions. This is not new, I suppose, right? There's always someone puts up some kind of malicious browser extension. These are browser extensions. Some malicious browser extension to be a botnet, to run a crypto miner, whatever it is. And they try to trick you into downloading it by making it something interesting and want you to just download and put it on your machine. What is slightly different with this latest story is that now what they are doing is they're trying to mimic known good extensions. So trying to, it's almost like typo squatting on names of things, password managers, things like that. And then once they get installed, using fake reviews, once they get installed, then they prompt the user and say, hey, you need to give us personal information or financial data or whatever it is, all the while, pretending to be part of whatever the major brand name of the extension is. So I don't know if you use browser extensions or pay attention to browser extensions.
I would say
don't really.
Not much. You have converted me into an avid 1Password user.
Yeah, that's the extension I use.
That's one that I have installed everywhere. And I feel like I might have one or two others. Like I occasionally would have to. And back in the day, Postman was done as an extension.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that's not their preferred deployment these days, although it might still be available. I'm not sure.
Yep.
So I did one or two, and I mean, it used to be that more things had to be done as an extension. Gosh, remember Firebug?
Yeah. All your debugging tools were extensions you plug in.
Back before browsers added all those, features natively.
Right.
That was good stuff. Anyway, but no, yeah. I probably have one or two extensions installed, but not many.
So also just pay attention to what kind of browser extensions you install. There's, I think we actually talked about it a while ago about how, or maybe there was a specific story about how a malicious actor bought a legitimate extension and then tweaked it and turned it malicious. Right. So it had tons of users, and there's a website, chrome-stats.com, that will show you all the extensions are essentially that are abandoned. Apparently, there's more than 100,000 extensions that people just haven't bothered to update in 2 years or more. And so if I'm a bad guy, I'm going to go trolling through the list of abandoned extensions, find one that has a lot of users, and email the guy and say, hey, you're not keeping this up anymore. I'll give you $50, $100, whatever.
Right.
For your extension, and for someone to do nothing and get basically $100 for free, sure, whatever. So maybe if you have a lot of extensions installed, go review them, check them, make sure they are A, legit, and 2, actually useful. And if they're not, maybe uninstall them.
So sorry, I might have to wind up having to cut this out. But what was the reviews? What was the review part of the article? Because I don't remember reading this. But are they finding fake good reviews, or are they finding bad reviews?
Yeah, no, fake good reviews, and like a certain person will register an account, and then just that same, because you have to have an email associated with the review, will just go through and flag hundreds of positive reviews for a whole raft of different extensions, all malicious or bad extensions, and so just even some good ones, just to try to keep it up. So it's using these fake reviews to essentially as a phishing lure for people who, like me, I read reviews of digital stuff like this, and if something gets a bunch of 1 stars, I don't install it. But if it gets a bunch of 5 stars, I think about it. So
sure.
That's what that chunk was.
All right, that's good. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many fake reviews. It's such a problem. In not just
Amazon,
in this place. Amazon,
everywhere. Any online shopping place that allows users to add the review has a fake review problem. No one has solved the fake review problem.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, and
all right.
Then my second article is about Android 12. Google I/O was online this week, or last week, 2 weeks ago. Time, who knows?
I think it was last week.
And introduced some new things. So Android 12 is coming out, and the same as Apple, which has been ratcheting down on tracking with iOS 14. Android 12 comes out with some new permissions on tracking. And the article that we'll link is mostly tied to how the changes to Android 12 are going to make it that much harder for sites like Facebook to track you. Because
what about Google tracking you?
Well, so there is a few notes in there about Google's. It's not as ratcheted down in privacy as Apple, because Google also makes their money there. However, Google makes their money in apparently different ways than Facebook, because Android 12, you can now change the permission that says, don't let someone see my exact location, just let them see roughly where I'm at. Let me let someone know that I'm in this city, but don't let them know that I'm on this street in this next to this house kind of thing. But that's so that's one option, but that's not really the big deal with the changes to Android 12 and what Facebook does, because Facebook apparently did a ton of work around using Bluetooth fingerprinting. So the app would have access to Bluetooth, and just all the devices that Bluetooth is constantly, if you leave your Bluetooth on, it's constantly pinging around it, looking for nearby devices. Do I need to connect to your AirPods, or earbuds? Do I need to connect to headphones or laptops or whatever it is, your car stereo, whatever you're going to connect to Bluetooth. But Facebook would use that to fingerprint where you are just by pinging. If you're walking in the mall, down the mall hallway, that Bluetooth is pinging all the phones of the people that you're walking or you used to walk next to, right? And so they could, and stores would have little
one of
beacons.
Those will have, location enabled. And it just takes one.
Yep. So now what Google is the new permission that Google is adding is nearby device permission, meaning can the app use the Bluetooth scan permission, which was free before, and now you can say, no, that app may not use the Bluetooth scan location, which is going to block Facebook's ability, for example, to do that, kind of beacon pinging and developing that fingerprint on your data. So that will be nice for Android users to be able to start blocking that. And we'll see what kind of effect that has on Facebook's ad business. Apple's already cracking down on things, and Google's cracking down on things clearly in such a way that still is somewhat beneficial to Google as an advertising company, but
sure,
not. It feels like it's going in the right direction, anyways. So those were the two articles that I thought were interesting this week.
All right. Well, your last week we had clearly we didn't collaborate on our topics. This week is another clearly we didn't collaborate on our topics, because my first topic is about, it's not so much about security as privacy, but it's about the Arizona Attorney General's suit against Google for lying to its users about location privacy tracking them
Oh.
even after they opted out, and what they did to circumvent the user choice that had been made. Um, and so there was a bunch of discovery documents released this week that were. I'm gonna link to a pluralistic.net, which is kind of a summary. But there's a Twitter thread linked in here that has a bunch of screenshots from some of the unredacted court documents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry, I should say from the redacted court documents. There's lots of black. There's lots of black images overloading or hiding some of the text, but this is interesting. So that's kind of why I was like, and what did Google say earlier? Because they're adding two more permissions, or something along those lines. So, I pulled out a few quotes from this article. So it says that the documents show that Google deliberately engineered its product so you couldn't get your own location or share it with an app without also giving your location data to Google as well. And that, here's one of the things. According to the unsealed complaint, the senior product executive at Google and responsible for location services did not know how Google's own location services interacted with each other. So, so I kind of copied an image. I couldn't copy the text out of this, so I copied the image into our notes at least. But it says that even Jen Chai, Senior Product Manager for Location and Corporate Designee for these topics, does not know how the three relevant location-related settings, Location Master, Wi-Fi scanning, and Wi-Fi connectivity interact with each other. By collecting location through Wi-Fi connectivity, Google makes it so a user cannot opt out of this form of location tracking unless the user actually completely disables the Wi-Fi functionality on his or her device, meaning that the device cannot connect to the internet through Wi-Fi. So you are welcome.
Device.
You are welcome to disable Wi-Fi tracking by disabling Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's one way to do it.
That is the thing is that that's the sort of oh gosh, what's a good word for it? When you take something to an extreme, hyperbolic, I guess, but fine, you are always welcome to play a different game. But wait a second.
That's right.
There's no other game to be played, right? I mean, both Apple and Apple and Google are the games. So anyway, another point I pulled out of here was it says that at one point the company made it easy to turn off location tracking and then was aghast when users disabled tracking in droves. So, Google has evidently over time tiptoed into, hey, should we do this? And then was like, oh crap, what's going to happen? So there's an image that's linked in the article, but it's one of, like, they have black bars over the X and Y axes. So it makes it look like it's a super dramatic drop in data from when the feature was introduced, but who knows?
You don't know what your y-axis
that could be
is.
like a 2% drop. Is that a 50% drop or a 2% drop? At 80%,
right.
It could be anything. It's like an Amazon chart. I remember I haven't heard that for a while, but yeah, remember a few years ago, Amazon was kind of famous for giving charts that showed, look, we're doing so much better than before. And does that chart start at the origin, or and what are the axes anyway? The argument here is that given the strong power of defaults, the fact that most users or many users would go in and change a setting, it just shows that given the choice to care, users kind of care. So, this is something that is an anti-pattern. because the other comment, and this is all Cory Doctorow's commentary, and he is not unbiased. Let us say, he's a fellow at the Electronic Frontier Foundation, but
Right.
is so his commentary here is that despite this revealed preference to use econo jargon, Google's response wasn't to turn location tracking off by default. Rather, it responded by using dark patterns to turn tracking back on and make it nearly impossible to disable again. And so the last quote out of this article that I pulled out was kind of very much a satirical comment. It's like, and so here's the quote: "Advertisers' lives would be easier if instead of showing you an ad, they could reach inside your bank account, withdraw some of your money, and send you a product because they think you'd need it. We'd be idiots to let them, though." But that's essentially what, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's
funny.
my first article. Very much you know, not really security, but privacy, and it will be interesting to see what happens in the it's not Texas, it's Arizona, for this Arizona suit. You know, I actually kind of want to mention probably the biggest security story of the week, which we're not talking about, is the ransomware at the meat. It's not just a packing plant, but yeah. So we're aware of it. I just like to say that, but we've covered a lot of ransomware, and I don't know that there's anything new to be said about that. The second article that I pulled out this week, I liked because it was kind of a unique take on botnet. So this is the Team TNT botnet. It's another Catalan article. But the thing about this is it's a botnet that works by infecting Docker and Kubernetes clusters. So if you leave a exposed admin or management interface that they're able to get into, they will happily take advantage of that by spinning up a cluster or a container or some that will run some cryptocurrency mining scripts, and at your expense. So it said that this has compromised more than 50,000 systems over the last 3 months between March and May. And let's see, the first big interesting point was, it's a container. This is a pure cloud malware or cloud. It's cloud software. The other thing about this is they, since they got, if they got into the management interfaces, they added the ability to scan within the infected systems for AWS credentials or other credentials for, like I think Kubernetes. If they can find credentials, then they can pivot to other cloud resources, and and then the third thing is that they run, in addition to the crypto mining, they turn the infected node into a node in the botnet and use the node to help for scanning for other infectable systems. So it's wormable, basically. So kind of an interesting threat, and has not something that probably most people are. I guess I'd still say most people aren't probably running Kubernetes clusters, but
you would think people who do would, if you have the engineering resources to run Kubernetes clusters, you probably
I think Open
have.
Elasticsearch and Mongo databases have shown that is totally not the case. Sorry.
I was trying to be optimistic.
Sorry. Sorry. Well, just a general commentary. The ease with which it can, you can stand up something like a Kubernetes cluster or a Mongo database or Elasticsearch is in tension with good security practices, always. And so, you make it really easy. Like a lot of people will just click, 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 then we're done. And if it's not secure by default, there will be attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Yeah. So, and it's hard to be secure by default. It's very hard.
Yeah.
And easy to use. So, anyway, the last point I have about this one is it says most of the recent 50,000 plus victims are systems stored at Chinese cloud providers. So, he said that, or the article in this said that matches with some other data, but on the chart that was associated with this, which I think was the underlying report was from Trend Micro, it said 55% of the victims are in China, 16% in the U.S., and then under 10% in a bunch of other countries. So that was some interesting data, I thought. So there you go, an unusual threat. Very
cool. All right.
How about something fun? What'd you bring me fun tonight?
I have an Ingenuity something fun, and it turned out to be fun, but it was maybe initially a little scary. So Ingenuity, the little helicopter on Mars, has been doing a bunch of test flights. So the 6th test flight, it just came out that JPL announced there was an in-flight anomaly. So the helicopter is fine. It landed safely. The article says more or less where it was aiming for, but a software glitch that it encountered sounds terrifying, with a roll and pitch excursions of more than 20 degrees, large control inputs, and spikes in power consumption. So you are how many million miles away?
Yikes.
How much? What's the ping between JPL and Ingenuity?
Like 2 minutes, isn't it? Something like that.
I thought it was closer to 30 minutes.
Is it that long? Oh, I don't know.
But yeah. So, anyways, what had happened is the Flight 6 was supposed to be the most ambitious flight yet. It was going to ascend to 10 meters, fly 150 meters one direction, translate 20 meters another direction, take some pictures, and then fly 50 more meters and land in a new airfield that it had never seen before. So total flight time was supposed to be at 140 seconds, speed at a top speed of 4 meters per second. So it was going to, it was like their next test, the next step, and it was going to use a color camera to take aerial stereo images to generate 3-dimensional maps of the Martian surface and send that back home. But right at the end of the first leg of the flight, I'm kind of paraphrasing the article here, about 54 seconds after takeoff, something went wrong, causing Ingenuity to begin adjusting its velocity and tilting back and forth in an oscillating pattern with pitch and roll excursions of more than 20 degrees, etc. So Ingenuity's behavior was erratic for the remainder of the flight, but remarkably it landed safely only 5 meters away from its target. So debugging Ingenuity remotely, they figured out what the problem was. So JPL traced the cause of the glitch to the loss of a single image in the pipeline that Ingenuity uses to estimate speed and position, right? Because there's no GPS on Mars, right? It's not like there's GPS and they can just depend on GPS. So it uses images. It relies on a downward pointing camera to basically capture frames at 30 hertz, find distinct features in those frames, and then compare each frame with the frame immediately before it to see how much it's moved. And that way it knows how fast it's moving and what how fast it's going, and that's what drives the navigation algorithm on a planet without GPS or any other way to do it. So, anyways, the great thing is this works great as long as you know what the time difference is between the two frames that you're comparing. Apparently, one image got lost, so now the timestamps were off, and every subsequent image that was running through the navigation algorithm didn't realize every time the navigation algorithm performed a correction, because now it's off, it's missed an image in the chain, so things are slightly off. It kept trying to correct itself until it got to the end, because there were kind of phantom errors because an image in the middle of the process got lost. I don't know how they fix that bug.
They don't take a periodic iframe.
I guess not. So, anyways, it landed safely, but there you go.
An MPEG-2 joke that goes way back. Come on, that goes way back. So.
Yeah. So there you go. That's my something fun. Ingenuity is still flying around on Mars, and even with a bug, a glitch, it managed to survive. That would have been horrible if it.
That sounds like a pretty lucky that it landed safely. I'll be honest. Yeah.
So, anyways, there you go. That's my fun.
Oh man. Okay. All right. I have two-ish something fun. So the first thing is it's going to be awesome podcast material. But if you haven't done it, click my Twitter link and watch it. Watch the little video. I'm not sure if you've seen this before.
I mean, I'm reading, so I know what the end result is.
Oh,
but,
yeah. I didn't. When I saw this earlier, I didn't see the next thing in the thread.
Well, but I have seen a video. I wonder if it's the same one, but I have seen a video. I think I've seen something like this. I want to say last year, or somebody who jumped out of something into a bunch of cardboard boxes. No, I'll have to find it. But yeah. No, so sorry. So excellent podcast material.
What you're watching here,
I've seen this,
or what I'm asking Eric to watch here, and what you should go, if you're listening to this, you should go watch this video, is a skydiver jumping from 25,000 feet with no parachute and landing in a set of nets, 100 foot by 100 foot square, on the ground. It's crazy.
That's just why. I mean, I suppose I know why, but you have to be so accurate,
right?
I mean,
no,
there can't be a gust of wind that comes and blows you off course at the last second. There can't. I mean, I'm sure they do all the math. This is, I'm sure, insanely choreographed, but. Why?
I'm with you, but you know what? I don't know. I don't know if you've seen the actual bottom of the video where he flips onto his back and he does not hit in the center of that net. But anyway. There you go.
It's almost done.
That's one thing. I don't know that qualifies as fun. I think that maybe decidedly does not qualify as fun.
That I don't understand. So, okay. Good for you.
I don't know. I watched the video and I was just like, that is. I mean, I tweeted crazy. That's what I tweeted. But okay, my other thing that I thought I would put in here for fun, because I spent the last week or weekend doing a lot of it, was playing Pinochle. Have you ever played Pinochle? it's kind of an old card game, so I'm not sure that.
I remember as a kid, my grandparents would play. So I feel like I have played in the past, but like
as a kid,
when I was a kid. So, a long time ago, and I probably didn't do it right, and the grandparents probably just tolerated my attempts.
Yeah. Well, we had we had enough players in the house when I was growing up that, once my sister and I got old enough to be able to play, we could play four-handed like as a family. And this was back in my day. Anyway, we played a lot of card games. We played a lot of games growing up, but a lot of card games and a lot of Pinochle growing up. So, whenever my family gets together these days, or it has been forever, one of the things we'll do is set up a game of Pinochle, or not a game, like over and over and over. We play games constantly, and we keep score through the games, but we don't really keep overall score. It's just
right.
Playing
just for fun.
Gives a opportunity to talk, and you chat, and you talk about the kids, and you talk about jobs, and you talk about everything, but you're just playing cards. So I very much enjoy it, and I don't even know how many games we played, because sort of in between meals, in between going to the beach, in between, or after dinner, before bed, we just had a game going, and we would rotate in. Sometimes my dad would sit down and take over, and sometimes even in the middle of a hand, here, take my hand, I got to go do,
right,
start cutting up stuff for dinner or whatever. And we're all knowledgeable enough, and just kind of, but it's a great family. So I think it's a great family thing. So I'll put in the
there you go.
Put in the link to the Wikipedia that has the instructions for how to play Pinochle. And I there's a bunch of things out here that I've never done. Like I've never played 8-player. I didn't know that was even possible. So anyway, I've played a number of these, but it's good stuff. And a bunch about the history too. I didn't even know anything about the history of the of Pinochle. It says that Pinochle was a favorite card game of American, Jewish, and Irish immigrants, while Scat was the preferred game of a majority of German immigrants. Okay.
Okay.
That's cool. All right. Anyway, there's my something fun.
All righty.
If you haven't played Pinochle in 40 years, play some Pinochle.
Is it similar to like Hearts or Spades? What's
kinda? Yeah. It says at the top of this that it's considered part of a trick and meld category. Where you meld to gather points, and then you play to gather tricks. So like with Spades and Hearts, you're playing for tricks and stuff like that, and
right.
and you there's a bidding phase for how many tricks you think you'll get in some of those games. So yeah, it's similar. There's a little bit more strategy.
Yeah. The one my parents always played, which I never could figure out, was cribbage.
Oh, cribbage. I thought you were going to say bridge.
No.
So because cribbage, I could show you how to play cribbage.
That's the one with the little pegs on a board, right?
Yeah. 15, 1, 15, 2, 50. Yeah.
That's another one I remember as a kid watching the parents all play, and aunts and uncles play that.
Yep, I played a lot of cribbage growing up too. Yeah, you when you grow up around a lot of snow, you play a lot of indoor games. I'll say, especially when it gets dark at 2:00 in the afternoon. You're like, all right, now what are we gonna do? So, just that is what it is.
Cool.
So anyway, there you go.
All right.
Call it a show. Have a good week. I will talk to you later.
Alrighty. Talk to you later, John. Have a good night. Bye.